Welcome to Mainland Regional Television Station. I'm Chrissy Small, and some of the stories coming up in our Nelson Tasman Regional News Roundup. Mainland's regional news funding goes south. Puppies are in demand, lighting up Nelson, and more. Mainland News in Nelson has been offering local broadcast news to the Nelson Tasman region, while funded by New Zealand On Air for a decade. Mainland's news team over the years have prided themselves on giving the people of the region a voice on issues that concern them and their community. Each year Mainland TV has put in for news funding to enable the team to continue to be a community watchdog by bringing local stories and an independent face to local news. This year Mainland's application failed to achieve funding to keep the news program going. I spoke to Mainland TV director Gary Watson about this latest New Zealand On Air decision. Gary Watson, Mainland TV News, New Zealand On Air funded. After 10 years, the news is losing its funding. Tell us a bit about that.
Well, we put in an application, but we smelt a rat from day one that this was going to be engineered for the big regions. And this is what's happened, is that we've missed out, and Allied Press, which is the Otago Daily Times, that company's family associates got around about $800,000, and we got absolutely nothing. So that covers Christchurch and Dunedin, and a little bit on the west coast, because these people own newspapers in these areas. Also, $400,000 went to NZME, which is News Talk ZB and the New Zealand Herald, the Auckland paper. So the whole concept of New Zealand On Air seems to us to have gone out the window, that it is now the print media and the big cities. And this is another classic example of money that's being sucked out of the regions of New Zealand to pay for amenities and services in the big cities. And we're seeing this with our tax on our fuel, paying for Auckland's traffic problems. We are seeing this with a whole raft of things, and this is something that the national government seems to be getting good at. It's very disappointing, because we were putting the news on TV, on radio, online, and the numbers were quite substantial. So I say to people, if you would like to see the news come back on air, contact your local MP, Nick Smith, Damien O'Connor, and write to the Minister, Amy Adams, and say, look, we want our news back on again. $128 million of taxpayer money is given to New Zealand On Air every year, of which around $2.5 million comes out of Nelson. So what are we getting? There's the problem.
Right. Okay. Have you spoken to our local MP, Nick Smith, about this problem?
I have sent him an official letter. I have sent an official letter to Damien O'Connor. We had somebody from New Zealand First here a few weeks ago, as you know, she did an interview. They were astounded of what was happening. The other thing that does disturb me a little bit is that there were 4 people on the panel that made the decision. The CEO of New Zealand On Air, nice lady Jane, I've met her a few times. Keith Collins, really nice guy, but he used to work for Allied Press.
Right.
And then there was a guy, France, who did a report on regional TV, but we were the only ones he didn't actually come and see. So he got no idea on how we operate, and therefore made recommendations to New Zealand On Air. But he never came and saw us. He went and saw a lot of the other stations, but never came and saw us. So how does he make an opinion on it? It's another question. And of course, the fourth guy on the panel was the guy from TV3 that made a mess of TV3. So, you've got to wonder sometimes about some of these decisions. I don't know whether it's just me getting grumpy in my old age, or whether I'm just seeing more and more dumb decisions being made. But, this does seem very unfair for the people of the region. And of course, the news is a small cost to Mainland. We don't make money out of it. In fact, it's a small cost. But we're happy to do that. It makes a contribution to the news from general advertising. And that's all just part of my passion to support the local community. But without the funding, we can't do it totally by ourselves. News is very expensive to do. And you guys do a great job, let's face it, with the budget that we have and all of the team here. So, yeah, it's a bit sad. And as from Tuesday, that's our last news. And Graham is going to be putting on a little bit of information about the whole situation on Mainland over the coming weeks. So anyway, we're just saying, look, if people out there, we're doing everything to support almost everybody in the community, all the community groups, organisations we run community notices on, and all the stories. Of course, the councils, we're not always flavour of the month with them, but we've put a proposal to both the councils to say, well, would you like to put a lot of your items on Mainland and cover the cost of doing it? Haven't heard back from either of them and don't expect to. But at least we have gone through the motions of saying, hey, look, Nelson needs to keep a local news service, because without Mainland putting the news out there, that's it. You've only got the Fairfax
written media. We've got the written media, but as we can see, it's getting thinner and thinner.
Yep.
One of the things that Mainland News has been able to do, which perhaps the print media hasn't, is to be able to give people their own voice to talk about their own stories.
And well, Vox Pops, yes, we go downtown and we just talk to people on the street and say, hey, what do you think about this? Well, of course, we're going to lose all that, which is really is sort of acting to keep the councils honest and some of the politicians honest. So that's all going to go. And again, Nelson is losing a service that it's paying for, and now the money is going to go to the big cities again. Very disappointing.
It is disappointing, especially that we all pay taxes to have that representation, and we're not going to get it.
Anyway, we're just going to put things on hold so that with your support out there, we can put the news back on again. If some funding can be arranged, we'll get the news back on and get the team in action again and bring you your local news. So we're kind of counting on the people out there. If they really want their news back, we hope we can get their support.
I caught up to Labour MP for Tasman, Damien O'Connor, about this decision by the New Zealand On Air funding body for regional news. Mainland TV have lost their funding for the news. It finishes on the 12th of July. You've been a big part of our news, obviously, Damien, because we always catch up over what's going on in the community. How does it make you feel to know that the funding for the whole top of the South Island, from Marlborough down to Murchison, has gone?
Well, there are some questions need to be answered by New Zealand On Air, and I'm writing to them directly to find out why we in the top of the south are not getting our fair share of the community media funding. And the allocation that should be coming this way should be over $2 million. We're getting nothing to run community-based TV and media, and I think it's quite unfair. We've got a very smelly kind of an unholy alliance of media being proposed in this country, and there's a real danger that we'll have monopolistic control of that. And we've already seen, in my view, some very biased media that's very pro-government at the moment. Big organisations that are happy with the status quo, happy to take dominance in the area of media, and they're coming together in a possibly bigger organisation. And I don't think that's healthy for democracy. And for the top of the south, we've got to make sure that we've got an alternative voice to what are the big media players in this country, and that's Fairfax and NZME, and we've got to keep them honest.
If you wish to support getting the news back on air, then a link to a petition to the Minister of Broadcasting, Amy Adams, and New Zealand On Air Chief Executive Jane Wrightson asking for Mainland TV News to continue to be publicly funded will be put up on our Mainland Television News Facebook page next week. Nelson SPCA's 6 puppies found abandoned a month ago in a box outside the SPCA's base in Waimea Road are now hot property. I caught up with the puppies and Animal Inspector Russell from the Nelson SPCA this week. Russell, these lovely wee puppies are back. They're ready to be rehomed. How's the rehoming process going?
Oh, it's fantastic. I mean, obviously because of a bit of publicity and the fact that they're so damn cute, there's been no issue. In fact, we have a stack this high of applications, and we're just trawling through them, and it's such a hard process to decide who sort of is going to be the best parents for them.
Right.
Yeah.
Look, they're all kinds of different looks, aren't they?
Yeah, well, there is a bit of a mixture in there, and it's sort of and that can happen with dogs, of mixed breeds. You don't know what you're going to get, but it also could mean that they might have different fathers. Even we just really don't know the story here.
Do you think that this is a pedigree mother that's possible? Because I mean, there looks to be some pedigree in there.
Well, yeah, it's very possible, and that is one of my theories actually, is that maybe it was a pedigree mum that's got out on the loose. She's come back with unknown parentage there, and so the owners have gone, well, these aren't up to it, and dumped them. But that's just a theory. Who knows?
What can people do when they have that situation? I mean, dumping is not good. I mean, where were these guys dumped, and how precarious was it for them?
Well, they were actually left at the gate right by the main road. They were in a plastic box with a lid on it, but that lid had come off, so they were all damp, and they were right near a very dangerous road. If they'd got out of there, it would have been carnage. So the best thing really is to actually approach us and ask us if we can help you. And there's, we can either take them off your hands, we can help with food, we can do all sorts of things. If people have an issue, we will help as best we can. And at least then we know that we can understand what the dogs are about, what their parentage is, and we have a lot more information to offer prospective adoptees.
Right, and of course, we, as you can see, and from these guys, they're so cute, and obviously no hesitation from people out there to rehome these.
No, when you get pretty dogs like this, they're very easy to rehome, obviously.
Yeah.
Some dogs haven't quite got that fortunate looks, but they all have great personalities generally, and it's a matter of sitting down with dogs and working out what is actually the right dog for you, and sometimes it isn't the pretty one.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got these dogs, but we've got other dogs over here, and they're letting us know they're there because they're being very vocal. But how many dogs at the moment do you have to rehome?
Oh, hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh no, lots.
So there's no shortage?
No, then they keep coming in, and it seems to be a lot in the puppy stage too. We haven't got a lot of adult dogs at the moment, but I'm sure they'll come.
Yeah. So people really, if you want a lovely wee pet, and of course the SPCA really do scrutinise these animals, don't you?
Oh, we do, yes. I mean, yeah, we don't rehome an animal that's unsuitable. If we check them for their health, for their temperament, and to be honest, 99% of them do go out to a good home. So it's just really good.
So get down to the Nelson SPCA here. There's lots of cute little animals here, as well as the dogs, but the dogs are great. So come and get yourself a wee dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. The cute little puppies have gone, but there's more here.
There's more, and there's always more coming. So yeah, just keep watching our Facebook, watching the website. We do update that regularly, so you can see what's going on. And of course, you can always pop in and see what's going on and come and meet them.
Light Nelson is on again this year from Friday the 8th this week, and is promising to be bigger than before. Kicking off Friday evening with the forecast for the whole weekend looking to be typical of Nelson in winter, fine and frosty. We went down to see some of the installations being put up around one of the areas designated for the Light Up Nelson event, the Queen's Gardens, and came across some locals busy at work doing their installations. Long-time local Christopher Vine, who describes himself as an artisan, was there working on his production, a bamboo construct on the water by the bridge. This year is the first that Christopher has put in an entry into Light Nelson. We came across artist Anne Rush's work, whose installation is also in water near the Suter Gallery building and was installed by Sam. Another installation by Linda Duncan uses materials that we commonly destroy the planet's reefs with, and through this installation, even though it is beautiful, it is designed to bring an awareness of people's impact on our environment. This installation also has a soundscape created in collaboration by Sue Garlick. Added to that, Linda's daughter Ella Duncan has created 3 animated GIFs which will be projected over the installation. These are just some of the stunning lighting effect installations that will be part of this year's event. Due to high public demand in previous years, Light Nelson will be running nightly from the 8th until the 12th of July from 5:30pm till 9:30pm. Don't forget to wrap up warmly for this light-inspiring event. Many items and disputes come to our attention from time to time, and the next story is one that Mainland has been following for over 12 months. It's about a public access road on top of the Takaka hill that heads north from State Highway 6. There are 2 to 3 occupied properties, but the road is mainly used by hang gliders, mountain bikers and the general public. Many people enjoy a walk or cycle the road as the views are stunning. Tania Omar spoke to Mainland television director Gary Watson, who's been acting on behalf of landowners.
Okay, Gary, so what's this story all about?
Well, for some time we've been following this story from access for a road on the top of the Takaka hill. Basically, there are about 3 occupied properties up there, and this road is shared by many users, people that are on mountain bikes, going for walks, the hang gliders, and sometimes there's like 40-50 people up there. And the road is actually used by the general public. Part of the road goes through a TDC paper road, and part of it goes through a DOC reserve road. DOC issued a notice last year to the landowners saying that they would no longer have access on that road to their properties. They've since changed their position, and they are now happy to grant an easement, which would cost about $12,000, or do a road swap. The TDC have said that the road swap would be much higher than the cost of an easement. I've had a number of meetings with Richard Kempthorne, and the council's dug their toes in and said they don't want anything to do with it. Now, I understand that there are roads around the region where there's like 1 or 2 people living at the end, where the TDC have said, look, we don't want to continue maintaining those roads because there's only 1 person at the end and it's uneconomic. Now, in that case, many of those farmers will just run their tractor and grader up and down the road and everything's fine. The difference of this road on the top of the Takaka hill is it's used by the general public. It is a stunning walk. If you go for a walk along the top there, you can see over both sides of the hill, and it's a lovely, lovely road. Now, I've been trying to get this sorted out for some time, and I believe the solution to this is for the TDC to take out an easement on behalf of all ratepayers, and that they should be looking after the road, maintaining the road, which is basically just running the grader up and down the road like most other rural people have around the region. So the landowners just want to be treated the same as everybody else, and good on them. And the public, the people we've spoken to, want to continue to have access to that road. So that's where it's all sitting. So yeah, it's a bit of a tricky situation.
Okay, so like you said, the Tasman District Council has backed out of maintaining many rural roads.
Yep.
And you've mentioned the public use of it. Is that why this road's so different, or is there more to it?
No, it's just the fact that this road doesn't fit into the category of many of the roads that the TDC doesn't want to keep maintained, because some of those roads they're not maintaining, there's only 1 or 2 people live at the end of the road, that's it, and no visitors in terms of visiting anything beyond those properties. This is a case that this is widely used. The other weekend I'm up there's 40 or 50 people watching the hang gliders, including their families, and some of the people, jumping off the cliff, and as you do. But good on them for having fun. And, a lot of mountain bikers up there. The property owners are being asked to pay for the easement and the maintenance of the road for everybody else. Doesn't seem fair. Now, when I had talks with the mayor, he said, the property owners could take out the easement and put a chain across there and only let people up there that are prepared to contribute to it. But that would inconvenience the whole general public, the hang gliders, all the people that use the road. And of course, the emergency situation, if there's a fire up there, you're not going to be able to get fire engines up there without getting the chain unlocked, or an ambulance. And I couldn't believe it. The mayor said to me, oh, well, if someone's calling an ambulance, they'll just have to go down and open the gate. If someone's lying on the floor and they've rung 111 for an ambulance, they're hardly going to be able to get down to the gate and unlock the chain.
So what else can be done? You've gone to the mayor. Do you feel like you're getting listened to, or what's next?
Oh, I'm getting listened to all right. They certainly know we haven't broken the story because we wanted to give them a chance to sort it out. I've come up against a brick wall. The mayor has said, you know, as far as he's concerned, it's not going to happen. And my comment was, while you're the mayor, it's not going to happen. Maybe. I've taken this to the Ombudsman, and I've also raised this with the community boards, which is what they're there to do. So because the road is on the top of the hill, it covers both of the board regions, community boards in Motueka and Golden Bay. So I put that to them both. Then the CEO of the council got wind of it and sent an email to the board saying not to proceed, not to touch it. And I feel that is circumventing the whole process of why the boards are set up in the first place. So I've made a complaint under law to the Ombudsman and also to the Auditor General, and they are currently starting their investigation going, and I've been providing them with some more information. And I think there's quite a few surprises because there is a point of law of which the CEO is interfering in the democratic process, because the process is that if you take an issue to the boards, they will look at it and then they will make recommendation to council as to what they would see as further action to take. So the CEO has circumvented that. So, where do we sit?
Well, it's great you can have this voice. Do these other organisations like the hang gliders know what you're fighting for them?
Oh, we've made people aware of what's going on. All of the landowners up there have signed a document to say that they're happy for this to proceed. So, all of the hurdles have been removed except for the stubbornness of the council. And these people just want to be treated the same as everybody else. They pay huge amounts of rates because there's quite a lot of land up there. And they just want to be treated fairly. And I think I'm just going to keep battling for these guys to sort it out. But this is the first time I've made this public, and I'm sure it won't be the last.
Mainland TV has been covering the reports of Nelson City Council's special housing areas, and with the median house prices on the rise and housing affordability still an issue, we wanted to give you actual footage of 2 special housing areas approved for in Nelson, both in stark contrast to each other.
Well, we're outside the Gulf Road special housing area, and we're just giving a tangible look at what these special housing areas are offering. So we're over the road from the beach, we're in prime real estate, it's even advertised as your playground by the sea. And we're going to give you a contrast between Gulf Road and Orchard Road, because some of the answers from City Council have been that we are going to be able to provide affordable housing through these special housing areas. So we're just wondering how people who maybe have been struggling to get a home or even living in cars can suddenly live in an apartment over the road from the sea. We're at the other special housing area. I mean, this is one of about 9 special housing areas. But we're just giving you the contrast because this is definitely not over the road from the ocean. This special housing area has had involvement with the Nelson Tasman Community Trust, a trust that's really at the grassroots level of putting people into affordable housing. So we see here that this development is probably going to see people who are struggling to buy houses be able to afford to get into these homes.
After the break, we'll bring you the latest weather update and some events and happenings coming up from around the region.
Hi there, Julian Toon, Waimea Telecommunications. We install and maintain domestic and commercial satellite TV, UHF Freeview and Mainland TV installations in the Nelson Tasman regions. We specialise in Panasonic telephone systems and provide communications, Wi-Fi, IT and wiring for internet, fibre, computers and DSL systems. At Waimea Telecommunications, we also provide specialist electronic systems for features such as a security camera you can watch on your TV, visitor alert systems and much more. Improve your security and communication and entertainment today. Call us on Waimea Telecommunications on 021 472297, ytel.co.nz.
World War I was a defining period in our history, impacting greatly on the lives of people from the Nelson province. Memories of the First World War is an exhibition which will be displayed in a number of regional venues and is currently on at the Nelson Provincial Museum.
Are you looking for a scooter, walker, wheelchair, baby seats or pushchairs? Then come in and see the Nelson Region Specialist at Mobility for You, 269 Queen Street, Richmond, opposite the library. We have a huge selection of scooters, walkers, wheelchairs and accessories, along with a free booklet guide. We also provide a breakdown service if you ever get a puncture or a flat battery. We have fully equipped service vans to rescue you. Hi, I'm Robin Jordan and I invite you to call in and see the friendly team at Mobility for You, 269 Queen Street, Richmond, opposite the library.
Why would you want to pay as much as $1,000 for a single bed mattress when you can buy a high quality locally made mattress like this for as little as $220? And a queen size mattress could cost you in excess of $3,000, but at Nelson Beds you could have a mattress like this as low as $425. So why would you go out and spend a fortune on your child's bedroom when you can come to Nelson Beds and buy a complete single mattress and base set, a 7-drawer Scotch chest, a headboard and a 3-drawer bedside cabinet for as little as $979? So call and discuss our custom manufacturing options and local after sales service at Nelson Beds, Nelson's only bedding manufacturer.
We're the team at Takaka, right here in Nelson, 120 Hardy Street. Our shop is full of electronic items,
including security alarm systems, electronic components,
solar and power,
electronics toys,
sound systems, cables and much, much more. Takaka.
120 Hardy Street, Nelson.
Sit and Be Fit is on at the Victory Community Centre Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 a.m. at the Victory Community Church, 238 Upper Vanguard Street. School terms only. Fun while you get fitter, work at your level.
On behalf of the team here at Mainland Television News, thank you for joining us for our last Friday News Roundup Bulletin.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.
Nelson Tire Centre. Great prices, great service. Buy your own Bryford trailer. All types, all sizes.
Hi, I'm Colin from Nelson Tire Centre. Come on down for a good deal.
World World War I was a defining period in our history, impacting greatly on the lives of people from the Nelson province. Memories of the First World War is an exhibition which will be displayed in a number of regional venues and is currently on at the Nelson Provincial Museum.
Are you looking for a scooter, walker, wheelchair, baby seats or pushchairs? Then come in and see the Nelson Region Specialist at Mobility for You, 269 Queen Street, Richmond, opposite the library. We have a huge selection of scooters, walkers, wheelchairs and accessories, along with a free booklet guide. We also provide a breakdown service if you ever get a puncture or a flat battery. We have fully equipped service vans to rescue you. Hi, I'm Robin Jordan and I invite you to call in and see the friendly team at Mobility for You, 269 Queen Street, Richmond, opposite the library.